Welcome to miniatures.de, your military miniatures magazine. In this issue, we are going to convert Airfix 1:32 scale Japanese infantry by properly placing their bayonet scabbards behind the left hip. Airfix produced 3 of the 5 rifleman poses in this figure set with incorrectly placed or even missing bayonets due to certain technical limitations of the injection molding process. To fix these mistakes, we need to remove the bayonet scabbards from the right hip and weld them to the left hip instead. Using a sharp blade, we carefully remove the bayonet scabbard and the leather bayonet frog from the figure's right leg. The operation is relatively easy, we just need to make sure that the scabbard stays attached to the bayonet frog. The scabbard itself only needs a little cleanup. Using the heated spatula of our regulated soldering iron, we can now remove any nicks and cuts from the right thigh. The edge of the blade is used to define the hem of the field jacket again, where it meets the trousers. With the soldering iron set to 8 on a scale of 10, the material melts like butter and can be sculpted easily. Bladed sidearms are always carried behind the left hip, so that they may be drawn with the right hand. This is universally the case throughout history, with one notable exception, the Roman gladius. Unfortunately, injection molding in 2-part steel molds does not permit undercutting, which would have allowed Airfix to correctly place the scabbard on all of these figure poses. Difficult decisions had to be made: leave the scabbard off entirely, or place it on the wrong hip of certain poses. Now, once the proper spot has been found, we need to securely hold the scabbard in place for welding. We use a lump of plasticine for this purpose, which acts as our third hand here. With the bayonet frog pressed firmly against the waist belt, we can now weld the scabbard in place carefully. The plasticine can be removed as soon as a minimal join is made. With the bayonet frog pressed firmly against the miniature, we can now weld the scabbard in place securely. Notice how the material melts and fuses with the miniature below without completely destroying the scabbard. There is enough plastic material here that we can melt and push around until the 2 parts are fused. Finally, we can use the side of the heated spatula to sculpt the plastic material until we're happy with the result. This second rifleman does not have a bayonet at all, but we are quite lucky that the light machine gunner in this set carries a spare bayonet we can use to arm the rifleman. Slicing the bayonet off the machine gunner is very easy to do, and there is virtually no damage done to the figure. Here's the perfect spot for placing the bayonet and scabbard on the rifleman's waist belt. So out comes the plasticine once more to hold the bayonet in place for welding. With the bayonet pressed firmly against the miniature, we can now complete the welded joint. Notice that the scabbard is now firmly in place, but the handle of the bayonet is bent outwards. To fix this, we need to remove a tiny wedge of material from the figure's back and create a fold for the bayonet to settle into. There we are. Removing this piece of plastic should allow the handle of the bayonet to settle perfectly against the figure's back. Again, we need to press the bayonet down firmly as we weld and fuse it to the soldier's back. Any obvious nicks and cuts can be smoothed over with the flat side of the heated spatula until the figure's uniform looks perfect. Considering what the miniature has just gone through, this weld is beginning to look as good as new again. There should be no visible trace of any tampering once the miniature is properly painted. So this is what our converted riflemen now look like, with their bayonets worn properly behind the left hip. Thank you for watching. For more information, you're welcome to visit our website at miniatures.de.